You're trapped in a 5-mile by 25-mile area where you cannot leave. You are stuck there. You don't have an airport because the Israelis bombed it. You don't have a seaport because they won't allow you. You have no access to trade with the outside world.
Dave Smith, a popular comedian and podcaster with over 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, recently appeared on the Lex Fridman podcast to discuss the burning issues of the day, chief among them Israel and Palestine. Per his usual modus operandus, Dave had some harsh criticism for the Israelis over their treatment of the Palestinians.
People in Gaza their entire life has been being refugees. Generations of people have been in this status now. It's just indefensible that the status quo of the Palestinian people having no rights, being ruled by a government that they do not get to vote for or against, no right to do commerce with the outside world.
Dave and Lex then proceed to explain their thesis on how to solve the issue. Namely, stop brutalizing the Palestinians and find an outside government that is willing to step in and take responsibility.
You're fighting in a way that produces more of the thing that you're fighting. And so the first step is to stop doing that. I do like to think that there could be a solution to the Israel-Palestine question, but it's going to have to involve Israel taking their boot off of the Palestinians' neck. And I know that that's scary. And I understand that there are like legitimate concerns about that.
I maybe naively see a lot of possibilities of peace there. I see, for example, normalization of relations with Saudi Arabia and Israel, and then Saudi Arabia taking some ownership over Gaza, where a big major player in that region takes ownership and steps as the middleman.
Yeah, I agree with you, and you're 100% right.
In a surprising turn of events, Lex and Dave are actually echoing sentiments that have been expressed by the Israeli government. Over the last year and a half of Palestinian suffering, the Israeli government has reached out to multiple powers in the area and pleaded of them to step in and take responsibility for Gaza, to build it back up, to make it into a place where terror cannot flourish and can no longer hurt the Palestinians or the Israelis. And every nation refused. Can we just talk for a second about this open-air prison that Israel is supposedly inflicting upon the Palestinians? Let's set the record straight with facts. Gaza actually shares borders with two countries. One is Israel, the other is Egypt. Israel allows Gazans to come in and work inside its borders. Egypt doesn't. Israel allows humanitarian aid to constantly flow through our country in order to arrive to our enemies. Egypt doesn't. Why does the whole world look to Israel when Egypt should share at least a 50% responsibility, if not more? But then Dave goes on to ask the question that all who oppose Israel put to us. Is there no other way? Isn't Israel the stronger actor?
The scenarios where you're dropping bombs on cities, I would say that the overwhelming onus should have to be on you to demonstrate that you absolutely needed to do that. Is there no other option than doing it this way? Or the party who has the power is the one who needs to make concessions?
Dave, as a Jew yourself, as a member of a nation that has been persecuted mercilessly for millennia, I would expect you, of all people, to understand that there is, in fact, no other way. But when you talk about the stronger power in the region having to make the concessions, I couldn't agree with you more. So who is the strong power in the region? You think the Jews hold all the cards? Here's a newsflash for you, Dave. In this region, Israel is a country of over 9 million residents. Out of the countries who have openly engaged in hostilities with us since October 7th, the Houthis have over 200,000 people who subscribe to their ideology. Both Lebanon and the Palestinian Authority contain over 5 million residents each. Syria is 24 million, Iraq is 42 million, Iran is 88 million, and Turkey has 84 million residents. To top it all off, the Israeli military, between active soldiers and those in the reserves, has only 635,000 soldiers ready to battle. Iran alone has 50% more than that. So who is the stronger actor here? Who is the side who is truly in danger of becoming the victim of a genocide? Then given all of this, how does Dave believe that the Middle East, the place where I live, that the Palestinians live, that everybody I love lives, how will we finally find our happy ending?
There's a reason why these terrorists hate us. They don't hate us for our freedom. And that makes no sense at all. They were saying is that they hate that we're free. Mm-hmm. Whereas it was much closer to saying they don't like us imposing on them. Oh, finally it clicked. It was like, that makes sense. It's the first time I had ever heard like an explanation and an understanding of this whole thing that we're involved in now, from 9/11 to the terror wars, that actually just made perfect sense.
But I wonder how much of the indoctrination made the software of their mind permanently anti-peace.
Yeah.
It's like extremify them. It doesn't justify anything, but it's more concerning for the prospects of peace.
Well, I'd say I get your point. It's an interesting question that I don't know if any of us know exactly the answer to.
Dave believes that the terrorists are not upset by who we are, but by what we do to them and to their families. He believes that one day Jews and Palestinians and everybody, we will sit around a campfire, we will put our arms around each other, and we will sing Kumbaya. And how I, as somebody who resides in this region, longs for that day. But Dave here severely underestimates the power of religious fundamentalism. The slogan of Hamas was never "let's save the Palestinians," but "let's kill the Jews." The Palestinian Authority never had a habit of paying salaries to those who initiated peace, but to those who engaged in terror. And if only Iran, the real military power in the region, spoke of their love of the Palestinians more than they spoke of their hate for the sole Jewish state on earth. And yes, I do believe that there may be a peaceful majority in Palestine. I do believe that there are so many there who just want the same thing that you and I do. We want love, we want peace, we want the best for us and for our families. But they are being controlled and manipulated and taken advantage. Actors that want nothing but war, nothing but destruction, nothing but the eradication and genocide of the Jewish people.
So, like, whatever risks come with the next phase of this, unfortunately, like, you're going to have to just deal with that. I'm more hopeful than not. And maybe there is a degree of like naivete to this, or perhaps it's just that I just don't want to allow myself to go down a certain path because I think it leads to such dark outcomes.
Dave, I could not have said it any better myself. The dark outcomes which you fear to explore as a theoretical position are the very outcomes that loom over us day by day. We would love to be optimists, and we would love to make concessions, and we would love to give everything we can for peace. But while you sit in your safety in the United States of America, and you have the privilege to avoid exploring those dark paths, those are the paths that an Israeli resident must explore and be wary of every day of his life. So yes, making concessions ultimately is a gamble. It's a roll of the dice. It could possibly bring about an everlasting peace in the region, or it can bring about the security concessions that will ultimately lead to our downfall.
Next time you gamble, bet your own life.
Would you be prepared to bet the lives of my family on the chance that your rose-tinted perception of these terrorists is accurate? And Dave, it may not be so fun to mourn the Jews in hindsight. And oops, I got it wrong will not be an excuse.